Most welcome watching this story by Alice. He accidentally interrupted a CEO's private moment. What followed altered his life. The elevator doors slid open, and there she was, Elise Harrington, CEO of Meridian Technologies, her face buried in her hands, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. For a split second, Marcus froze, his finger hovering over the "close door" button. Too late. She looked up, their eyes locked, and in that moment of raw vulnerability, something impossible happened. One of the most powerful women in tech asked him, a junior developer who'd been at the company for all of 3 months, to stay. Before I continue this story that changed not just Marcus's life but mine as well, hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy real stories about moments that redefine our paths. Your support means everything, and trust me, the ending of this one still gives me chills every time I think about it. Marcus stepped into the elevator, heart hammering against his ribs. The woman whose signature appeared on his paychecks quickly wiped her eyes, attempting to reconstruct her famous composure. 15th floor, she asked, her voice steadier than it had any right to be. Actually, the parking garage, Marcus replied, immediately regretting how casual it sounded. It was 9:30 p.m. on a Friday. Most employees had left hours ago, but debugging the new security protocol had kept him late. Again. Long day? She asked, pressing the button for him. Not as long as yours, I imagine, he answered, then winced at his boldness. But instead of the cold dismissal he expected, Elise Harrington laughed, a genuine sound that transformed her face. You have no idea. The elevator began its descent, and an uncomfortable silence settled between them. Marcus stared at his reflection in the polished doors, wondering if he should say something or pretend the last 30 seconds hadn't happened. He'd seen her from afar at company meetings, watched her TED Talks, read about her journey from foster care to founding a billion-dollar company. But nothing had prepared him for standing beside her as she put herself back together after what was clearly a breakdown. I'm sorry, she finally said. Not exactly CEO behavior. I think CEOs are allowed to be human, Marcus replied, surprising himself again. The elevator stopped at the 12th floor, but no one was there. As the doors closed, Elise turned to him. What's your name? Marcus Chen. I'm on the security development team. The new encryption protocol, she nodded. I read the brief. Ambitious. Marcus couldn't believe she knew about his project. We're trying. Still some bugs to work out. Hence the late night? Hence the late night, he confirmed. When they reached the parking garage, Marcus expected a quick goodbye. Instead, Elise hesitated. Do you have dinner plans, Marcus Chen? That night changed everything. Over Thai food at a hole-in-the-wall restaurant where no one recognized her, Elise explained that she'd just lost a major government contract to a competitor, a contract she'd spent months pursuing, one that would have secured jobs for hundreds of new employees. The board was questioning her leadership for the first time in her decade as CEO. Why are you telling me this? Marcus asked, bewildered by her openness. Because you saw me at my worst and didn't look away, she answered simply. And because sometimes you need perspective from someone who isn't trying to protect their own interests. Marcus found himself sharing his own struggles, how he'd moved across the country for this job, leaving behind his fiancée who refused to relocate, how the engagement had ended over the phone just 2 weeks ago, how the encryption protocol was his way of proving he hadn't made a mistake with his life choices. We're both having quite the month, Elise observed, raising her water glass in a mock toast. The following Monday, Marcus expected things to return to normal. Instead, he received an email requesting his presence at an executive meeting. Confused and nervous, he arrived to find Elise and the company's top leadership discussing the lost contract. Marcus, explain your encryption approach, Elise said when he entered. Stumbling at first, then finding his footing, Marcus outlined the security protocol his team had been developing. When he finished, the room was silent. This, Elise finally said, is exactly what the Department of Defense was looking for. And we already have it in development. 3 weeks later, Marcus found himself presenting alongside Elise to government officials. His protocol became the cornerstone of a new proposal, one that not only won back the lost contract but expanded it. Overnight, Marcus went from anonymous coder to rising star. But success came with complications. Colleagues who once barely acknowledged him now sought his favor. His ex-fiancée called, suddenly interested in reconciliation. And Marcus found himself invited to meetings where decisions affecting thousands of employees were made. Through it all, Elise became not just his mentor but his friend. They continued their Friday dinners, discussing everything from company strategy to their shared love of obscure sci-fi novels. She taught him to navigate corporate politics without losing his integrity, while he reminded her why she'd started the company in the first place, to create technology that protected people. 6 months after that elevator encounter, Meridian faced its greatest crisis. A sophisticated cyber attack threatened to expose millions of users' data. As executives panicked, Marcus recognized patterns in the attack that matched theoretical vulnerabilities he'd been studying. For 72 sleepless hours, Marcus led a team of developers in constructing defenses. When it was over, the attack repelled, the vulnerability patched, Elise called him to her office. "The board wants to create a new position," she said. "Chief Security Officer, reporting directly to me. They want you." Marcus stared at her. "I'm not qualified. I've been here less than a year." "You're exactly qualified," she countered. "You understand both the technology and the human element. That's rare, Marcus." He accepted the position, and over the next 2 years, transformed Meridian's security division into an industry leader. His team's innovations protected not just their users but set new standards for the entire tech sector. What Marcus didn't know, what I didn't know when I was in his position, was that Elise had been diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's just before their elevator meeting. She had been crying not just about the lost contract, but about the beginning of her own ending. She revealed this to him 3 years after they met, when her symptoms became impossible to hide. By then, Marcus was positioned to step into a leadership role that would preserve her legacy. She had been preparing him all along, seeing in him what he couldn't see in himself. The day Elise announced her retirement, she pulled Marcus aside. "Remember the elevator?" she asked. "Every detail," he assured her. "I've always believed that our lowest moments can lead to our greatest opportunities," she said. "That night, I saw someone who didn't look away from pain. That's the kind of person who should lead." Today, Marcus Chen is the CEO of Meridian Technologies. Under his leadership, the company established the Harrington Foundation, which funds research into Alzheimer's treatment and supports tech education for foster youth, honoring Elise's beginnings and final chapter. I know this story so well because I was that junior developer. That elevator door opened, and I had a choice, step in or step back. I chose to step in, and it made all the difference. Life's most profound turns often come disguised as awkward moments, an elevator door opening when it shouldn't, a vulnerable exchange with a stranger, a chance to be kind when it would be easier to look away. These moments ask a question: will you engage or retreat? The next time you find yourself witness to someone's unguarded moment, remember that your response might just change 2 lives, theirs and yours. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to join our community of people who believe in the power of human connection. Share in the comments a moment when an unexpected encounter changed your path. I read every comment and would love to hear your story too.